If you are a lazy person, stretch yourself as thin as possible so that you have to work hard. It will put you into a position. This is not for everyone. This is not advice that will work for everyone. But if you are the kind of person that only works when you actually have to work and there is no other option, then put yourself in the position where you are stretched so thin that if you don't work hard, you will get crushed. That way, you're always working. That way, you're always on the pedestal. Always on the runway. Look at that. That's a signed hat, by the way. Not to brag, but I think that's going to be a new hat of the day. We're going to have a new segment, hats of the day. Every time I'm going to have a new hat now. New shirts are out. Iced coffee, ride or die club. That's what it says. Iced coffee, ride or die club. Iced coffee, ride or die club. Out now. Go check it out. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to a video. This one is a very quick video. Today we have a couple theories that I wanted to discuss about how the environment really shapes who you are. And I wrote this paper freshman year of university, and essentially in the paper, what I was talking about is that there was a study in France when they took six people and they put them in completely different living styles. One person on the countryside, one person in a castle, one person in a farm, and one person in a library, book-filled style penthouse, townhouse, and one person in a really cramped studio apartment. And essentially, what they found is that the people had very, very different styles of thinking. The person in the vast mansion had completely different, more general, more egotist, more. It's completely different daily routines, completely different ways of life. So it's for just such a short period of time, or a couple months, really. Um, already was changing the way people thought and perceived even themselves. The level of confidence it gives you, depending on which kind of living facility you are in, is vast. The differences are vast. And so essentially, what we're looking at here is that it's nature versus nurture, but it's also because here's the thing, nature. Uh, we are all here's the interesting thing. My friend who is very smart and scientific told me that we are all 99% identical in terms of DNA. We are actually all very, very, very similar in the DNA. It's only about 1% that accounts for, the cosmetic differences, the visual differences. And besides that, we're all very much alike genetically. So nature wise, we're all pretty similar. And then after that, the nurture. Here's what's interesting. I believe, this is my theory, that your environment entirely shapes who you are. But what I mean by that is not just physical. I mean what your parents do, what your grandparents do, who's going to be around while you're a kid. So is it going to be your mom's home, your dad's home? Is it going to be your grandparents' home? Is it going to be your I don't know. Are you going to spend time with your uncle, your sisters, your brothers, your aunt, your grandma, your grandpa? Who is taking care of you majority of the time? Which city are you living in? Are you living in the city? Are you living in a suburb? Are you living in a house? Are you living in an apartment? Are you living all of these things that your parents, the people before you, your parents, grandparents, everybody who came before you put in place where they chose to live and see, I'm saying chose, but keep in mind that that's a tentative word, uh, where they chose to live, but so all these things that happened before you, you didn't choose where you're going to live. You didn't choose what kind of house you're going to have. You didn't choose what kind of jobs your parents are going to have. You didn't choose any of those things. So essentially, you didn't choose how you're going to be at 18 years old, at 25 years old, when your brain is fully developed. You did not choose that. You did not choose who you will be. Now, a lot of people will believe that you do make a lot of choices on a daily basis. That is true. You make a lot of choices. What I'm saying is the overall personality type slash type of human being you're going to be, like how you're going to dress, your vibe, how you're going to talk, your slang, all that stuff is almost predetermined because your adolescent youth is not really chosen by you for the general the the exception does not disprove the rule. So I know there are exceptions to this case, but I'm saying on in general, people in the United States of America, at least before they're 18, they don't really dictate their own life. You don't really choose where you're going to live, all that stuff. Before you're born, you don't get to see a screen and decide where you're going to be. So there's an interesting concept called the veil of ignorance, and it's if you thought that you could end up, say you had to reset, and you could end up being in the worst off class, so you could be in the most discriminated against class in the world. How will you make the rules? So what will you vote for then? Vote with a veil of ignorance. And that's an interesting concept because we did not get to have that loading screen. We did not get to know. We could have been anything, but we did not get to choose. So really the effect the environment has on you is more than you could ever imagine. And that is why it is ultimately crucial that you set up a good environment for the future generation. And I myself am saying right now, of course, I fail to do that all the time. Every day, I fail to do that. But we must not forget that everything we do, everything we don't stand up for, everything that we let and slip by, everything that we ignore, all the issues we are seeing that no one is, we all are seeing in real time. We are seeing issues that people that we know, a lot of people we know, our parents would have stood up for this, and they're tired. They're tired. All of our parents are tired. They don't have the energy to pay attention to everything anymore. We are people who are in this generation. We are. If you just graduated college, if you just graduated high school, if you're in this world right now, 18 to 25, if you're in this world, this is about to be our world. When we turn 30, we're going to be the ones who are creating the environment for the future generation. Is this the kind of world we're going to want to live in? Because the environment shapes everything. So when everything you do, think about, would your kid want you to do this right now? And that will change your world. Anytime you're catching yourself and you're about to do something stupid, ask yourself, will my kid in the future want me to do this right now? What would you want if you could change anything about what your parents were doing when they were kids? What would you want them to be doing? Wouldn't you say a lot of people's answers would be they would want them to be doing this, this, and this, probably making this business or doing that because now they have the information on what's going to happen, but whatever. And they're going to say they wanted them to do this and that so that my life could be this way and that way. So you do it. You do it. Are you going to want your parents doing the things you're doing right now? Would you have wanted that? Ask yourself the next time you do something that you kind of already have a hunch, you already know is a waste of time. Ask yourself, would your kid want you to do this right now? And it will change your world. It will change your entire perception of things. You will start to understand and start to realize how much people waste their time, how much of this world is designed to distract you. As they said in Wolf of Wall Street, it's a fugazi, it's a wazi, it's a woozy. It's fairy dust. This might be the first, might be the last. I'm not sure, but I think it'll be somewhat of a political corner. I mean, a philosophical slash political corner where we're just gonna talk shit. I don't know what's going on with my ear hair flow over here. It's going like over weirdly, my ears dividing it. I don't know what's going on, but I haven't even showed my face this whole time. Um, but I think it will be a new segment. I'm not exactly sure. We'll probably do it once a week, maybe. There's gonna be some debates. I'll put in some highlights from the debates in the end of this video, and there'll be a little montage of reels and videos that I'll talk over, and it's gonna be a great year. It's gonna be a great summer, and essentially another theory that I had is imagine you are on a train looking out and you have to really use your imagination. Imagine you are looking out of a train window at whatever is to the left or right of you, whichever side of the train you're sitting on. Just to the side, fully to the side. It looks beautiful, right? That's how life should be. What it is instead, a lot of the times, is you're sitting there and you're looking up ahead, seeing what's coming, looking forward to what's going to happen in your future. We're always looking ahead, see what's on the other side of that curve. We always want to know what the next big surprise is. What's the next thing that's going to give us happiness? But by the time you get there, it's too late. And you realize that where you've been all along, where you were when you were wishing for this moment, was the moment that you will be wishing for the rest of time. You never know when you're in the good old days until you're past them. It's from The Office. It's Andy. And you know, that's something that all of us probably know. And it seems so simple. But there is a way of living. And I believe that it's an ancient monk thing, but I saw it in the book Be Here Now. And essentially, the theory is to treat every moment and that task like that is the only task you were ever meant to do. If you are raking leaves, you tell yourself and you treat it like that is the only thing that you were ever meant to do. And you do it to 155%. And you just be the task. You just do it fully as if that's what you've been waiting for all along. And that's something that It's very easy to say, but when you're there in the moment, it's hard to do. And a lot of people will try to tell you advice on what to do in life. And you have to understand that average and the majority of people are wrong. You have to do what you want to do. Do it hard. Do it better than anyone else has ever done before. Go 155% at everything you do. Fuck average. Average isn't real. Average is a distraction to keep you down. Your life will only be average if you do above average. I know it sounds backwards to say, but it's true. You'll only have a good life if you do incredible. You'll have an okay life if you do good. And if you do average, well, in real life standards, you're fucked. You are fucked way harder than you have ever known.